Number 10, he fired everyone. After Musk completed his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter, he immediately decided to fire the company's leadership team. Within hours of the takeover, we know that he fired CEO Parag Agrawal, the head of legal Vijaya Gadde, chief financial officer Ned Siegel, and many others. In fact, two of them literally had to be escorted out of the building that was Twitter's San Francisco headquarters. From that point on, Musk went ahead with his plans to fire 75% of the company's employees, which was roughly 7,500 staff. He then brought Tesla engineers in as advisors. He also sent a company-wide email explaining, in an effort to place Twitter on a healthy path, we will go through the difficult process of reducing our global workforce, adding that Twitter's offices will be temporarily closed and all badge access will be suspended, in an effort to help ensure the safety of employees and Twitter overall. The mass firing brought about another headache for Musk, as many came together to file a class action lawsuit against the company and its new owner, claiming that firing them would be a violation of labor laws. They demanded that the court step in and issue an order that would require Twitter to follow the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, which states that you have to give advance notice of at least 60 days for mass layoffs in large companies. They also wanted to stop Musk from forcing them to sign documents that could give up their right to pursue legal action against the company. Number 9, the pledge. Last month, the Twitter offices temporarily closed as hundreds of employees resigned after refusing to pledge their allegiance to Elon Musk. The tech billionaire called on Twitter's remaining employees to sign up for the long hours at high intensity or pack their bags. Hundreds of workers then band together and decided not to accept his new terms. One former Twitter employee, who wished to remain anonymous, told the BBC, "I think when the dust clears today, there's probably going to be less than 2,000 people left." They claimed that everyone in their team had been sacked. The person above that was one of the executives terminated on the first day, so there's nobody left in that chain of command. Another anonymous employee who spoke to the BBC said, "I didn't want to work for someone who threatened us over email multiple times about only exceptional tweets should work here, when I was already working 60 to 70 hours weekly." So what was in the pledge and why was it so demanding? ABC News has reported that hundreds have sent the salute emoji over the company's Slack, which obviously means that they have walked out. Number 8, the Twitter Blue subscription. Last month, the company introduced their new subscription service, and that caused absolute chaos. In an effort to make the new system a significant source of revenue for the company, Musk has opened up Twitter's blue checks to anyone that was willing to pay for them. But it turned out that this was an absolute train wreck of an idea, because it didn't take long for users to take advantage of the new system. In the hours after the blue checks were put up for sale, the platform was flooded with all kinds of verified impersonators. Big brands were hit, as an account impersonating the pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly caused a particularly serious problem when it tweeted out, "We are excited to announce insulin is free now." That tweet went viral and stayed up for at least 2 hours before it was taken down. The real Eli Lilly account tried to correct it, but the damage was already done. Their stock price dropped sharply, as did those of other pharmaceutical companies which were also impersonated. Celebrities also grew frustrated with the idea, as it meant losing their status symbol as public figures, because it made the blue check mark obtainable for anyone who wished to pay for it. Since then, the platform has relaunched the service, offering users verified status for $8 a month or $11 a month on their iPhone. Subscribers will apparently get more prominence on the platform and rocket to the top of replies, mentions, and searches. But this concept still remains a contentious one, and it doesn't seem like they'll ever be able to fully rid the network of impersonators. Number 7, reinstated Donald Trump. Twitter users were shocked when Musk organized a poll to determine whether or not people wish to see Donald Trump's account reinstated. Slightly over 15 million Twitter users voted in the poll, with 51.8% voting in favor of reinstatement. Musk then tweeted the results and said, "The people have spoken. Trump will be reinstated." For his part, the former president appeared less than excited over the news and said that he didn't see any reason to return to the platform. If you didn't know, Trump's account was taken down after the Capitol riots in January, as he was alleged to have taken part in inciting the violence. Instead, Trump insisted that he was going to be sticking with Truth Social, the app developed by Trump Media and Technology Group, which he said had better user engagement than Twitter anyway, and was doing phenomenally well. Overall, Musk's decision to simply let the people decide was heavily criticized. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, a leading US civil rights organization, urged all advertisers to stop funding to Twitter immediately and to pause their spending after Trump's reinstatement. The NAACP's president Derek Johnson said, "Any advertisers still funding Twitter should immediately pause all advertising. If Elon Musk continues to run Twitter like this, using garbage polls that do not represent the American people and the needs of our democracy, God help us all. Number 6, rise in hate speech. Since taking charge, the tech billionaire set up what he calls a content moderation council that's composed of people with widely diverse viewpoints, who was supposed to prevent the spread of misinformation and harmful content. But that very council that he put together seems to have already fallen through. Without warning, Musk abruptly dissolved the team just moments before they were scheduled to meet with company representatives. The council was an advisory group of nearly 100 independent, civil, human rights, and other organizations that the company formed in 2016 to address hate speech, exploitation, and other problems on the platform. In fact, a recent study conducted by Montclair State University confirmed that there was a spike in hate speech on Twitter since his takeover. The study tracked how often homophobic, anti-Semitic, and racial hate-driven terms were used. Researchers found that about 398 hate tweets an hour were made in the 12 hours after the acquisition were finalized, a number that nearly quadrupled from the 84 tweets an hour in the week leading up to the acquisition. Number 5, misusing his platform. Musk owns one of the most powerful social networks in the world, and he is set to become the most followed person on his own platform, but he's been called out for using his position as a means of targeting individuals that he disagrees with. It was recently reported that Twitter's former top safety official, Yoel Roth, was forced to flee his home after escalating personal attacks, specifically after Musk tweeted about his academic writing. Even though he misrepresented its content, Roth was the head of trust and safety at Twitter, and he was involved in many of the platform's decisions about what posts to remove and what accounts to suspend. Over the years, Musk has made disparaging tweets about certain individuals to his tens of millions of followers, who then feel compelled to launch an attack against them on his behalf. For example, his recent condemnation of Anthony Fauci, the top US health official, has also drawn immense backlash. Musk tweeted, "My pronouns are prosecute Fauci." As a result, Fauci has said that he has faced death threats from Musk's followers. In a press conference, the White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre called Musk's tweets dangerous and said that they are disgusting and divorced from reality, and we will continue to call that out and be very clear about that. Number 4, the Tesla Employees Survey. An internal Tesla workers survey that was recently obtained by Business Insider showed that employees have become frustrated with Musk's leadership and culture within the company. In fact, the results of this survey were so damning that it was also used in a shareholder lawsuit against him. And it turns out that 65% of Tesla professionals, managers, executives, and directors said that they trusted him to balance employee interests with those of the company. 67% said they believe Musk cares about the company's employees, but many other responses about him showed employees complaining about his company culture, leadership, approachability, and communication. Also, his work timelines and firings. One worker said, "Elon is a technical leader of the highest order, and yet is widely seen as an unapproachable tyrant who devalues the contributions of the staff and may fire them on a whim. He treats people, the fundamental unit of a company, like any other expendable resource." Another worker wrote that they felt at any point I or anyone around me will be fired, and called the company an extremely toxic environment. Third employee claimed that Musk's ego needed to change and said that he was bullying people into making unrealistic commitments. The survey essentially confirmed what Twitter employees have been saying about having him as their boss. At both companies, he's pushed workers to meet insane goals and is known for his high intensity. In the past, several former executives have come out saying that he's a difficult person to work for. Number 3, the ElonJet account. The controversy started when Musk permanently suspended an account that tracked the location of his private jet, despite the fact that he initially promised to leave it up as a part of his commitment to free speech. The ElonJet account, which had amassed more than 500,000 followers, was run by Jack Sweeney, a 20-year-old Florida college student who used publicly available flight tracking information to build a Twitter bot that tweeted every time his jet took off and landed at an airport. Sweeney woke up on Wednesday morning to a message from Twitter informing him that his account had been permanently suspended. Apparently, Musk had been frustrated with his idea for quite some time. In fact, it bothered him so much that he personally reached out to Sweeney last December through a private message asking him to take his account down because it posed a security risk. The billionaire then offered him $5,000 to shut it down, but the student became emboldened and countered the offer, asking for $50,000 instead to help pay for his college fees and maybe get him a car. After some back and forth, Musk responded saying, "It doesn't feel right to pay to shut this down." He also posted his justification for the new policy, tweeting, "Any account doxing real-time location info of anyone will be suspended, as it is a physical safety violation." The resulting scandal seemed to exacerbate the issue of his growing unpopularity as a whole. Number 2, silencing journalists. Last week, the world was shocked when Musk suspended a group of tech journalists from the platform, with a sketchy explanation at best, and claimed that these accounts were now violating the company's rules about revealing people's location. He claimed that he did this under the guise of safety, and said that these journalists had doxed him, but we already know that this was not the real reason. In fact, it was a lot more to do with the fact that they all reported on him in an unflattering way. Lynette Lopez was a prime example of that. The Business Insider journalist claimed that her account was suspended after she shared court documents on Twitter, revealing that Musk had allegedly hacked and doxed people in the past. She said, "He's never been any different from that. We're just all seeing it now. The reason I felt I was suspended is because Elon didn't want them to see him as a hypocrite." And coming in at number 1, users voted against him. The internet was shocked when Musk asked Twitter users whether or not he should step down as the head of the company, promising to abide by the results of his poll. More than 10 million people, or 57.5 users, voted in favor of him stepping down. Interestingly enough, he did not tweet in the immediate hours after the poll. His silence was finally broken when he responded with "interesting" to multiple suggestions that the results of the poll were skewed by fake accounts. Eventually, he did say that he will resign when he finds someone foolish enough to take the job, but he claimed that he will still run the software and service teams after his replacement is found. In fact, he reportedly told remaining workers that the company could see a net negative cash flow of several $billion in 2023, and bankruptcy is not out of the question.
Number 10, the Eras Tour. If you've been on the internet recently, then you'll have probably heard about the Ticketmaster disaster that happened with Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour pre-sale. Basically, over 3.5 million people registered to get a pre-sale code from Ticketmaster's verified fan system, but only 1.5 million fans were sent codes to access the pre-sale. The company then said that due to bot attacks, as well as fans who didn't have codes, they reported that 3.5 billion total system requests were recorded during the pre-sale. As a result, fans were stuck for hours and the website itself was frozen or kept crashing at checkout. In the end, 2.4 million tickets were sold during the pre-sale alone. Ticketmaster then cancelled the general sale due to what they called insufficient remaining ticket inventory to meet that demand. Essentially, the verified fan system is meant to ensure that fans get their hands on tickets before bots and resellers do. But shortly after the pre-sale, tickets began popping up on ticket resale websites for ridiculous amounts of money. Number 9, scalping. It's been proven time and time again that Ticketmaster facilitates price gouging by encouraging scalping. The company actually runs a secondary ticket market called Ticketmaster Resale, where they charge a second, more lucrative fee in addition to the fee on the primary ticket market. So by allowing scalpers to buy up the majority of tickets, Ticketmaster can essentially assess a second fee on consumers who missed out on the initial sale of concert tickets. Fans were shocked earlier this year when tickets to Harry Styles' concert went from the regularly priced $200 to over $1,000 at his tour's only Canadian stop, which prompted fans to start a petition pleading for cheaper options. Not to mention the recent Taylor Swift tickets, which have now been priced at tens of thousands of dollars on resale websites. For instance, for the show at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, they're now listed for as much as $21,600 on StubHub. Not to mention that floor tickets for her show in Atlanta are listed for as much as $35,000. Number 8, the investigation. It was announced this week that the Justice Department has opened an antitrust investigation into the owner of Ticketmaster after the sale of Taylor Swift concert tickets descended into chaos. The investigation is set to focus on whether or not Ticketmaster's parent company, Live Nation Entertainment, has misused its power over the multi-billion-dollar industry. The Justice Department's antitrust division has recently contacted music venues and participants in the ticket industry to learn more about Live Nation's methods. In fact, Tennessee's Attorney General Jonathan Scrimetti said that he is launching a separate investigation called a Consumer Protection Investigation into them. He said he's concerned that the company lacks competition, and with that, customers are left with sky-high prices and a poor experience. He also questioned Ticketmaster's lack of preparation and said that given the company's size, they should have been ready for the unprecedented demand from Taylor Swift's fans. Number 7, shady practices. Ticketmaster has been able to get away with all sorts of things due to lack of competition. They can refuse to share how many tickets are sold and at what price or how many are available, which allows them to create artificial scarcity. Not only that, but they can also get away with hiding many fees on top of the ticket price and not showing them until after you select the tickets. In fact, the company has frequently lobbied against transparency laws that would require them to explain these extra costs to buyers. Then there's the so-called dynamic pricing, which is a relatively new system used by Ticketmaster that sets prices based on demand. So the more people waiting in line for tickets, the higher the prices go. They'll label these dynamically priced tickets as platinum seating, and even though the name suggests a great location, these seats can in fact be located anywhere in a venue. For certain shows, the company will simply reserve a number of tickets to have a price that can fluctuate higher or lower based on demand. Number 6, no competition. In 2010, Ticketmaster purchased Live Nation, which runs a ton of event venues and has an artist management business. So basically, anytime Ticketmaster had any kind of competition, they would just buy it out, which is why they have no rivals to this day. The Justice Department did approve the merger of Ticketmaster and Live Nation, although that decision brought about a lot of criticism at the time, considering that it created a giant in the industry that still has no equals in its reach or power. The merger was met with pushback from several activist groups and artists like Bruce Springsteen, who was upset at Ticketmaster for steering his fans towards its own secondary platform. And so in 2009, he wrote a letter to his fans saying, "The one thing that would make the current ticket situation even worse for the fan than it is now would be Ticketmaster and Live Nation coming up with a single system, thereby returning us to a near monopoly situation in music ticketing." Number 5, Pearl Jam's protest. In 1994, America's most powerful rock band swore off using the ticketing giant during their summer tour. They were committed to ending the hidden costs passed on to their fans, so Pearl Jam laid down guidelines for their upcoming tour, which was to be a $1.80 service fee clearly spelled out on top of the $18 tickets. To put that into perspective, Ticketmaster was used to charging a service fee that was 2 or 3 times that amount. Essentially, the band wanted to put their principles ahead of payday, so they decided to tour without using Ticketmaster, but eventually they found it too difficult and returned to the service after only 14 months. Although their protest did fail, they filed an antitrust complaint against Ticketmaster, which ended up triggering a federal investigation into the company. In response, a spokesperson from the company said, "Getting attacked by a superstar rock band is a lot like being accused of kicking your dog. There's a general presumption of guilt until proven innocent." But until Pearl Jam raised the issue, Ticketmaster's exclusive contracts were essentially invisible to consumers. Number 4, the criticism. Artists have long been critical of Ticketmaster and their problematic behavior, but after the Taylor Swift fiasco, the dominoes really started falling. Congressman David Cecilian tweeted, "Ticketmaster's excessive wait times and fees are completely unacceptable, as seen with today's Taylor Swift tickets, and are a symptom of a larger problem. It's no secret that Live Nation Ticketmaster is an unchecked monopoly." Then Ilhan Omar tweeted, "Break up Ticketmaster," and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez also slammed the company, writing, "Daily reminder that Ticketmaster is a monopoly. Its merger with Live Nation should never have been approved, and they need to get it reined in. Break them up." And let's not forget when John Oliver described Ticketmaster as one of the most hated companies on earth, and he called out its high prices and scarce availability on his Late Show. In general, the approach that the company has taken on its ruthless journey to dominance has caused endless controversy. Number 3, the settlement. As recently as 2019, the Competition Bureau ordered Ticketmaster to pay a penalty of $4.5 million for misleading customers on online ticket sales. The news comes after the Bureau found Ticketmaster's advertised prices did not at all reflect the true cost to the consumer, because they added fees later in the process that in some cases added more than 65% to the cost. So essentially the initial prices were misleading, despite consumers seeing the additional fees before completing their transaction. Then ironically, that same year, the Department of Justice found that Ticketmaster had been violating the terms of the settlement by forcing venues to accept their services as a condition for hosting Live Nation performers and retaliating against those that refused. So despite the fact that they had to fork out millions of dollars in the settlement, the company continues to be as shady as ever, and they went straight back to their unethical practices. Number 2, artists speaking out. Both musicians and fans have been outraged with Ticketmaster for decades. Many have tried to take them down, but to no avail. One of the most notable examples was in 1994, when Pearl Jam's guitarist Stone Gossard said, "It is well known in our industry that some portion of the service charges Ticketmaster collects on its sale of tickets is distributed back to its promoters and the venues. It is this incestuous relationship and the lack of any national competition for Ticketmaster that has created the situation we're dealing with today." Bruce Springsteen also came out against the company in 2009, At the time, his fans complained that when they were trying to buy tickets at face value on the website, they were then directed to a subsidiary site, with tickets listed by resellers at hundreds of dollars more than their original price. In response, the singer's team released a statement condemning the company. Following his response, many other artists have since spoken out against their ridiculous fees. And coming in at number 1, pressure on live music. We know that the prices for concert tickets constantly seem to be on the rise. In a 2011 interview, the ex-CEO of Ticketmaster, Fred Rosen, explained that as the internet became a bigger part of people's lives, the amount and speed at which sites could sell tickets exploded. That, combined with a number of industry changes that forced artists to rely on live music way more than record sales, ended up transforming concerts into the expensive industry that they are today. Rosen said, "It used to be you made the record and toured to support the record. Now you tour to make money, because pricing has caught up with value, and the albums don't sell on the same level." So with that said, it's clear that now more than ever, the pressure to make money is being placed on touring rather than records. So the game has essentially changed, and the result is ridiculously high fees for concert goers. Number 10, the age gap. When it was announced that Billie Eilish and Jesse Rutherford became an item mid-October, fans were very shocked to say the least. The couple was spotted holding hands at Halloween Horror Night. Days later, they were photographed publicly making out outside of a popular restaurant in LA. Concerns were raised almost immediately around their age difference. If you don't know, Billie is 20 years old while Jesse is 31. The 11-year age gap between them is not a big deal on its own, but it immediately gets worse when you consider that Billie entered the public image as a 15-year-old. It's normal for fans to feel a certain type of way about her dating someone old enough to have a mortgage. But of course, there's also the argument that as long as they're happy, they're both consenting adults, and that's what really matters. Number 9, the Halloween costume. The internet practically exploded when photos were leaked of Jesse and Billie's disturbing couple's Halloween costume. If you're wondering about how they could possibly make people feel more icky about their relationship, Billie decided to dress up as a baby and Jesse went as an old man. But it was a couple's costume. The thing is that they were probably poking fun at people criticizing their age difference. But yes, there's plenty of reason for people to feel a little grossed out by their costume, because it plays right into that creepy age stuff. Twitter was very quick to react to the photos, with one user writing, "I wish I could wash my eyes with soap and scrub this from my mind. Good to know their fetish and why they're together." Another tweet said, "The baby costume alone was okay. Seeing the whole picture, this is weird." They do get points for being self-aware, but the costume somehow made everything a little gross. Number 8, when they met. According to photos posted by a Jesse Rutherford fan account on Twitter, Billie and Jesse have actually known each other since 2017, when Billie was 15 and still on the rise as a musician. One viral tweet summed up the situation very well, saying Jesse Rutherford is literally 31 and Billie is not even 21 yet. They also posted a photo of a teenage Billie Eilish posing next to him. Someone commented under the photo saying she's still not old enough to drink alcohol and he's a grown man. While another user wrote, "I had my years of thinking guys a decade older were normal. It's not." The post certainly calls into question the idea of what's appropriate and what's not in their relationship. But to be clear, at that point they had not started dating yet. Number 7, disturbing allegations. Last week, the neighborhood shocked fans when they announced the firing of their drummer Brandon Fried, after several women came forward accusing him of SA. One of the women was Maria Zardoya, the lead singer of the LA-based indie pop band The Marias. She made a post on the group's Instagram account on Sunday. Brandon had touched her inappropriately while at a bar the previous evening. She said, "It was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever experienced. I felt an invasion of my space, privacy, and body. Y'all need a new drummer." Brandon responded by apologizing for being such a drunk guy, but shortly after his post, the neighborhood announced termination in a statement shared on the band's social media account. Maria's post drew outcry from fans who called on Brandon's bandmates for accountability, including lead singer Jesse. Many people called him out for staying silent about the allegations. In response to the news, one user tweeted, "First Jesse Rutherford, now Brandon Fried. Wow, the neighborhood is so cooked." Number 6, his song lyrics. Something that's been constantly brought up online in the wake of people finding out about Jesse and Billie's relationship is that they can no longer look at the music the same way. The reason being is that several of the neighborhood's tracks feature songs that center around the concept of being too young for certain things, like their hit song Daddy Issues, for example, because it's widely believed that the lyrics reference a young woman seeking to have a relationship with an older man in order to recreate the toxic or non-existent relationship that she had with her father. Pretty controversial stuff. And of course, people are drawing parallels between that song and the singer's romance with the much younger Billie. One user tweeted, "The neighborhood has a whole new meaning now that Jesse Rutherford is a creep." Another person wrote, "Full disclosure, I really love the music of the neighborhood and have for years, but that doesn't doesn't really mean anything. I would much rather protect the women in the industry. Number 5, Billie was a fan. Around the same time that Billie and Jesse first met, when she was 15 and he was 26, the point that keeps being brought up is that she was always a big fan of his music, and therefore she was easily able to be influenced by someone that she considered her favorite artist. The neighborhood first formed in 2011 and came onto the music scene not long after, so it's no surprise that they would have had a crowd of young fans by that point. For her part, Billie started working on songs with her brother Phineas in 2015 when she was only 13 years old. At that time, her brother had already been writing and producing music for several years and had his own band. In 2016, 14-year-old Billie would go on to release her first hit song titled Ocean Eyes, and she exploded on the music scene. Although she certainly had a promising career ahead of her when she first met Jesse, some fans still believe that because she was a fan of him at the time, there was already a precedent set for a power imbalance in their relationship. Number 4, the internet's reaction. It's safe to say that Billie and Jesse's relationship has been one of the most criticized to date. Judging from the reactions on the internet, you can clearly see that the majority of Billie Eilish fans almost believe that there is something inherently wrong with their relationship and there's something off about it, even though the couple themselves have come out in defense of their romance. One user tweeted, "Jesse Rutherford's 31 years old, but he's dating Billie Eilish who's 20. This has happened so many times too. Grown men in the industry have been preying on Billie through so-called romantic relationships. Also, he's known her since she was 15 and he was 26 at the time. Some have even compared it to Taylor Swift's relationship with a much older John Mayer, saying the whole Taylor Swift-John Mayer thing happened like 14 years ago, and the fact that people's reaction to that and their reaction now to 31-year-old Jesse Rutherford from the neighborhood dating 20-year-old Billie Eilish is just saying that they're both adults, so it's fine. It's baffling to me." Number 3, the family's response. A lot of Billie fans have been calling out her family for supporting her relationship. Someone tweeted, "Billie Eilish and Maria of the Marias deserves the love and defense y'all are willing to give to white men you think are very, very weird for blaming Billie Eilish for potentially dating a 30-year-old man at 19. When the real conversation should be, how is her family allowing her to be continuously groomed and manipulated by these grown-ass men with no interference?" This backlash is largely due to response from Billie's older brother Phineas when he was asked about Jesse Rutherford. The 25-year-old musician claimed that he was fully supportive of his little sister's relationship. He said, "Listen, as long as she's happy, I'm happy." A source close to the star has also claimed that Jesse and Phineas get along very well, and that he has even seen a change in Billie over the years and said that she is ready for the relationship. So obviously he doesn't seem to see any issue whatsoever. Number 2, the couple's outfit. The new couple divided fans with their debut outfit. Ever since Billie and Jesse started dating earlier this year, they have generally kept their public appearances to a minimum. Up until their debut, they had never been seen together officially on any red carpet event, but recently at a star-studded gala in LA, they finally made an appearance together in bold style. The two of them divided the internet once again when they opted for comfy monogrammed Gucci pajamas, accessorized with an eye mask, slippers, and a blanket. And yes, they were both wrapped up together. Some people thought it was adorable, and as usual, others thought it was just way too much. The PJs were definitely a surprise given the formality of the event. Billie wore a crop top, a long skirt with a lace trim slit, and a long robe that was all monogrammed in Gucci's signature house print. As for Jesse, he wore a silky loungewear set including a button-up shirt and trousers, finished off with a pair of Gucci house slippers. So was it a fit or not? Well, that's still to be decided. And coming in at number 1, hiding their relationship. In October this year, news broke out about their relationship after a fan spotted the musicians holding hands as they exited a haunted house at Halloween's Horror Nights in LA. A video of their interaction ended up going viral on Twitter, with many fans shocked at the news. Around the same time, they were also spotted eating dinner together at a vegan restaurant. Then on the 19th of October, pictures of them kissing outside a SoCal restaurant hit the press. The pair made it Instagram official when Billie posted some pictures of them on Halloween. There was also a short video of Jesse dressed as a clown. And on November the 6th, they made their red carpet debut at the LACMA event, posing together under a Gucci branded blanket. So with the way things unraveled and how news of their romance started circulating online, so has speculation as to why the couple chose to be so cryptic about their relationship in the first place.
Number 10, the argument. Megan told the courtroom about how the early morning incident unfolded. She explained that she was in the car with Tory Lanez, his bodyguard, and her friend Kelsey Harris after a party at Kylie Jenner's house. Megan testified that Lanez became upset with her once she asked him to leave the party, leading to an argument breaking out on the drive home. According to the rapper, there was tension in the car because she didn't want Kelsey to know that she and Lanez had previously had an intimate relationship. The argument in the car escalated when he turned around and told her that she needed to stop lying to Kelsey about what had happened between them. Megan said that she didn't want to tell her friend, quote, because I knew Kelsey had a crush on Tori. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I didn't want her to know that I had dealt with him in any kind of way. So he knew I didn't want her to know that. I didn't want anybody to know. Now Kelsey's got an attitude because he was implying we were hiding something from her. She testified that she asked to be let out of the car twice. The first time she got out of the vehicle, but quickly got back inside when she realized that she was only wearing a bikini and did not want to be recognized. Back inside the car, she said, Lainez and Kelsey were screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. And as they approached her house, it was then that the confrontation became even more hostile. Number 9, the incident. Once Megan asked to get out of the car again, she said that she and Lainez began insulting one another's musical careers. He told her that she wasn't successful, and she fired back with the same insult, telling him, quote, this is where you're at in your career. This is where you're at with your music. And I feel like that really rubbed him the wrong way. He kept yelling and cursing. As she started walking away, Lainez then pointed his weapon at her feet and then fired 5 shots while yelling, dance. Megan then recalled the moment as she realized what was happening. She said, I don't have to turn all the way around. I didn't have to use my feet to turn around. She then demonstrated how she turned her head without needing to turn her entire body. And that's when she saw him holding the weapon. Because her main injury was located in the back of her left foot, the defense is expected to say that she was not facing her attacker, so her claim that she saw him actually carry out the attack would be deemed unreliable. At this moment, Megan said that she was in shock and felt scared. According to her testimony, the group returned to the car once again, and she tried to compress her bloody wound with makeshift towels. To make matters so much worse, as she was tending to her injury, this is when Lainez started begging her not to tell the police, and she thought, why are you not worried about how I am? Number 8, the hush money. When Megan took the stand in a downtown LA courtroom, the Houston-born rapper started off by saying, I just don't feel good. I can't believe I have to come in here and do this. As she went on to describe the details of that harrowing incident, there was one part of her testimony that really stood out. The shocking moment when she revealed that Lainez had offered her and Kelsey Harris, her longtime friend and former assistant, $1 million for both of them to keep quiet about the incident. Megan recalled that after she was hurt, Lainez became apologetic and said, please don't say anything. I'll give y'all $1 million. I can't go to jail. I already got caught with the weapon before. The jury also heard a portion of a voicemail where Tory Lanez apologized and acknowledged that he was drunk at the time of the incident, but he did not admit to discharging the firearm. The court was also shown a text from Lanez to Megan where he explained that it should never have happened and he can't change what he did. The crazy part is just how much money he offered Megan in exchange for her silence, because it goes to show you that he was afraid of the consequences more than anything else. Number 7, she protected him. In April of 2022, Megan appeared on CBS for an interview with Gayle King, where she opened up about that tragic night, admitting that she told police that she had glass in her foot in order to protect everyone. Explaining her decision, she said, the George Floyd incident had just happened, and because of that example of police brutality, she felt that the officers arriving on the scene would fire first and ask questions later. Megan recalled that there was still a weapon in the car, she was bleeding, and she felt something bad was about to happen. So the first thing she told police was that she had gotten injuries from stepping on glass. When she took the stand on Tuesday, the rapper admitted that by the time she was in the ambulance, after having talked to the police, there was no point in changing her story about stepping on glass. As she said, people don't believe women. She went on to claim that she initially lied because she didn't think the big boys club that was the music industry would ever side with her. Megan said, every man in a position of power in the music industry has been giving me hell for going on the last 3 years. And in the black community, my community, it's not really accepted to cooperate with police. So although she could have chosen to tell officers all the details of the attack from the minute they arrived, it's clear that she was pressured into lying by certain factors that were out of her control. Number 6, divided reactions. The aftermath of the incident has become ingrained in pop culture commentary, and it has really emphasized a divide in the hip-hop community. The attack was most recently mentioned in Drake and 21 Savage's song Circo Loco, where the rapper accused Megan of lying about the incident. In the lyrics of the song, he says, "This be lie about getting shots, but she's still a stallion." The controversial lyrics directly reference her allegations against Tory Lanez. Drake also referred to her graduation from Texas Southern University last December in yet another part of the song and said, "Shorty say she graduated, she ain't learning enough, play your album. Track 1, K heard enough." In response, Megan tweeted that people need to stop using her incident for clout. She wrote, "I know I'm very popular, but y'all gotta stop attaching weak-ass conspiracy theories in bars to my name." She then went on to blast male rappers, calling them lame, and said, "Ready to boycott bout shoes and clothes, but dogpile on black women when she say one of your homeboys mistreated her." In her response, Megan also turned her attention to Drake's fans and told them to remember that they supported men who stood by a man accused of hurting a woman. In general, the attack and the subsequent discourse on social media has highlighted how the mistreatment of black women is still something that is largely ignored in society. Number 5, Rolling Loud. On October the 8th of 2020, Lanez was arrested for attacking Megan with a semi-automatic and carrying a loaded and unregistered firearm in the vehicle. By October 13th, a judge issued a protective order against him, requiring him to stay at least 100 yards from Megan and not engage in any written, personal, or electronic contact. But obviously, Lanez did not take these charges seriously, and on July the 25th the following year, he violated the protective order after making a surprise appearance on DaBaby's Rolling Loud set in Miami. According to live stream video footage, he was brought on stage in a disguise, wearing an oversized costume, and DaBaby said, "I'll give somebody out here $1 million if they can guess who's in here," just as Lanez emerged from the costume. As a result of that performance, his bail was increased from $190,000 to $250,000. But that was just another example of how casually the rapper has approached the allegations. He's also continued to dispute Megan's account of the incident through his music. In his song Money Over Fallouts, he said, "How the F you get shot in your foot, don't hit no bones or tendons." For quite some time before the trial, Lanez has been trying to convince his fans that he was framed, without specifically denying that he was the aggressor in the situation. Number 4, leaking discovery findings. In February, Lanez was accused of leaking discovery findings to the press, namely DJ Academics. The podcast host tweeted that Lanez's DNA was not found on the weapon in the case, as an attempt at defending him. Megan shot back in her own series of posts to her Instagram story saying, "I know some of your blogs on payroll, but please don't get sued trying to create a hate campaign. Be a real journalist and post facts." She went on to say, "Y'all got breaking news 15 minutes before court started and nobody has even been called in yet. You're trying to win a social media campaign. This is my real life. You're trying to get retweets spreading false narratives. Academics, why are you lying? What did you gain?" So Lanez was clearly trying to muddy the waters on social media by having other people post sensitive details about the case on his behalf. During the hearing, his lawyer Sean Hawley argued that he did not provide Academics with any of the information that he tweeted about. In response to the trial, the podcast host said, "I saw this doc myself. It literally says it was inconclusive in finding Tory's DNA on the firearm or magazine." He also said, "Meg can get the same document that they referenced in court today. Hopefully she's entitled to see what the DA will be using against Tory, being that she's the victim. It's a part of discovery. Ask the DA what the completed DNA test said, then come back and apologize to Big AK." Number 3, violating his restraining order. Since the whole ordeal occurred, a judge has forbidden Lanez from being near or contacting Megan. But he reportedly didn't take the memo seriously enough, or at least he didn't realize that social media posts weren't part of the equation. The rapper was barred from speaking out or in reference to Megan on any social media platform, but in recent months he's sent out several tweets aimed at her, denying her claims and hinting that she'll be found guilty of a crime and not him. On February the 24th, he tweeted, "Good D had me effing my 2 best friends and I got caught. That's what I apologized for. It's sick how you spun it though." Basically, he was trying to get the blame off of him, but only admitting to one part of the story. He also wrote, "You can't buy and tweet your way out of this one." Due to those tweets, Lanez was back in court on April the 5th. According to a report from Rolling Stone magazine's Nancy Dillion, the judge ended up siding with Megan. She tweeted, "Judge David Hereford heard nearly an hour of argument about Lanez's tweets and said, some seem to be clear messages to Megan. He added a new condition to Lanez's release and said that he's not to mention the complaining witness in this case in any social media." As a result, Lanez Lainez was immediately handcuffed and reprimanded until he posted the $350,000 bond. Number 2, previous violence. This isn't the first time that Lainez has been accused of violent acts. The rapper and his security allegedly attacked Love and Hip Hop Miami star Prince Michael Hardy, both in 2019 and in 2020. According to the police report, Prince told cops that he was at Club Vendome on South Beach sitting at his table around 4 a.m. when Lainez approached and struck him on the left side of the face. He said that when he turned around to make eye contact with him, Lainez had ran out of the club and took off in a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. That allegation came after the incident in 2019, which Prince said resulted in him needing teeth surgery after Lainez punched him at Live Nightclub in November. As a result of those incidents, the reality star sought unspecified damages by suing him for physical, psychological, and mental distress. For his part, Lainez insisted that any actions done against Prince were done in self-defense. The two eventually reached a settlement in court for an amount which has not been disclosed. But both of those altercations paint a specific picture of the rapper's past behavior and his tendency to shift the blame onto others. Number 1, their dynamic. Under questioning from Deputy District Attorney Kathy Tarr, Megan told the jury that she'd only known Lainez for a short period of time before the incident in July of 2020, having met him that same year. She did explain though that they had a largely positive relationship leading up to that day. During her interview on CBS This Morning with Gayle King, she revealed that they were close friends as they had initially bonded over the fact that their parents had both passed away. But when Gayle asked if their relationship was intimate, Megan said, "I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tori." The two of them initially raised eyebrows back in April after they were spotted making TikToks and drinking together, which prompted rumors to swirl about the nature of their relationship. Surprisingly, 3 months after the incident took place, Lainez hopped on Instagram Live and said that he still considered Megan a friend, despite his felony charge. He said, "I don't ever want to come off like I'm here to bash this girl, or I'm here to talk down about this girl, or ever be at a place where I'm disrespecting her, because to me, as a person, she's still my friend, no matter what. Even if she doesn't look at me like that, I look at her like she's still my friend." But if he truly considered her as a friend, Lainez wouldn't have tried to push the narrative that Megan has been lying, something that he's been doing for more than 2 years.
Number 10, lied about men's prison. When Nikita was arrested, fans were really shocked to find out that she was apparently being held in the men's unit in the correctional center. There was so much outrage for her plight that there was even a petition started online for her, which racked up 24,000 signatures. The petition stated that by being held in the men's unit, she was in immediate and very real danger from transphobes and predators, and that holding her there was a severe violation of her human rights. However, the Miami-Dade Corrections Facility has since come out and debunked those claims. They released a statement saying, "Inmate Dragun never made it beyond the booking process prior to release, therefore she was never placed in the men's unit. All inmates undergoing our intake process remain in an open seating area in the presence of correctional staff." They also explained that Nikita was placed in a separate holding cell due to her high-profile status as an influencer, and apparently one of the officers who brought her in was also a part of the LGBTQ community himself. So it doesn't really seem like she was being held in the men's ward after all, but they might not have communicated that properly to her at the time. Number 9, smiling in court. The video that went viral of Nikita was in the Miami-Dade Bond court, and it shines a very bad light on her because she appears to show zero remorse for her actions. In the clip, the 26-year-old can be seen wearing an orange prison jumpsuit while on a virtual call with the now famous Judge Mindy Glazer. As the details surrounding her arrest are being discussed, Nikita looks completely unbothered and appears to be smiling throughout the video. When she realizes that she is able to leave, she just smiles at the judge, waves, and blows her a kiss. It just makes it seem like she thinks the whole thing is a joke, despite the fact that she was charged with felony battery on a police officer, misdemeanor disorderly conduct, and misdemeanor battery. Judging from the clip, you could make the argument that she doesn't appear to understand the gravity of what she did, but she clearly wasn't taking it very seriously either. Luckily, Judge Glazer was very nice about it and didn't seem to think that she was being sarcastic. Number 8, couldn't pay her bond. It all started with a viral video of Nikita in jail talking to the judge, who asks her, "Do you have money to post the bond?" Nikita then looks uncertain and asks how much is it. When she finds out that it'll be $2,000, videos, she says, "I might have to check." So when that video went viral, one of her fans, a Florida-based TikToker by the name of Ivy Wyatt, came to her rescue and ended up paying her bond. In a series of videos posted to TikTok, he explained that while he does not know Nikita personally and has only ever interacted with her over FaceTime, he believed that she was being bullied by jail staff, and that's why he wanted to help and get her out. So after paying her bond, he filmed himself in the car going to pick her up. But while he was in the parking lot of the correctional center, Nikita's management team apparently called him and told him to go home because they were already sending a car to retrieve her. This was around 2 AM. But the whole thing was super shady because we already know that didn't happen, and Nikita got picked up by a group of random fans. Number 7, picked up by fans. There's no way to downplay how crazy this is, but Nikita ended up getting picked up from jail by a group of random strangers who just drove off with her. In a series of TikTok videos, a user named Marilyn documents the moment that a disheveled looking Nikita comes out of the correctional center and runs straight towards them. The fan claimed that no one was there for Nikita and that she cried in their arms after they picked her up. She also posted disturbing videos of Nikita in the car where she looks completely strung out. Then the YouTuber was taken to a house with a large group of people where she appears to be behaving erratically and looks intoxicated while singing and dancing around, still wearing her clothes from jail. The title of the video read, "We were the only ones there to pick her up. We stayed with her for as long as we needed. We learned so much about her and became good friends." While it sounds like this group of people did help her out, there were so many things that could have gone wrong in this kind of situation. Number 6, no one was there for her. Amidst the unfolding chaos of Nikita's arrest, it became clear that no one in her own circle showed up for her when she needed the most. Not her friends, family, or management team, none of them were able to get her out of jail. That's something that was unfortunately left up to her fans. The video clip that went viral on TikTok shows the moment that she was getting picked up by a group of fans, and she was just waiting outside in the rain. The sad thing is that Nikita seemed to be taken aback when she realized that no one was waiting for her. The TikToker who posted the bail, Ivy Wyatt, said that he only did so when he called to inquire about her bond and realized that no one had even posted her bail, and at that point she'd already been in jail for quite some time. The strange thing is that Nikita has a whole management team on payroll, and there's no reason that they couldn't have helped her out. Also, where are all her real friends? Something about this whole situation just seems off. Number 5, shady management team. Everything about Nikita's team was a red flag in this situation. Their absence and frankly their incompetence during her arrest, one of the first things that everyone noticed. Following her release, Nikita Dragun's public relations representative released a statement attacking the Miami-Dade County Corrections Department for placing her in a men's unit. Jack Ketsoyan said, "The situation with Nikita, who is legally female, being placed in the men's unit of a Florida jail is extremely disturbing and dangerous." He also said that she is receiving professional treatment in a mental health care facility now, and said that she is in a safe environment addressing her mental health. "We ask for continued respect for her privacy and the sensitivity of this matter as she seeks treatment and healing." It's true that that is exactly what she needs right now, but clearly her team is never going to address the fact that they were unable to help their client when she needed it most, and they even put her in danger by making her rely on the kindness of strangers to get her out of jail. So it's no wonder fans are calling for her to take them off her payroll. Number 4, disturbing fan video. The TikTok user Marilyn, who was a part of the group of fans who picked Nikita up from jail, filmed a disturbing video of the YouTuber when they brought her back to someone's house. In the video, you can see a disheveled looking Nikita surrounded by fans, still wearing her clothes from jail. She then starts singing out of nowhere and seems to be either intoxicated or going through some kind of a manic episode. The footage is concerning to say the least, and many of the comments underneath the video have compared it to the Gabby Hanna incident, when she let a stranger and so-called fan into her home while she was strung out on medication. The guy named Nicholas apparently asked to use her washroom, entered her home, and then prayed with her, despite the fact that her friends told Gabby to get him out of there because she was home alone at the time. Luckily, he didn't hurt her, but he did film the entire inside and outside of her house and posted disturbing videos with her. Now, Nikita might not have been in that same kind of danger, but in the videos you can clearly see that she is not all there and she seems to be really out of it. Number 3, Miami Beach Hotel. We know that last week the YouTuber was arrested after walking around naked at Miami Beach Hotel pool and causing a public disturbance. Police say when they got there, Nikita had been causing a disturbance for a long period of time, and when they asked her to cut it out, she became irate and threw water on the hotel staffers. Then when police and security went up to her room, she apparently opened the door after several knocks that ended up slamming the door in their faces. From that point on, things escalated very quickly. Nikita opened the door again and asked them, "Do you want more?" She then swung at them with an open water bottle, which hit them and spilled all over them. At that point, she got handcuffed. Although it does make sense that she should be punished for these actions, some of her supporters have pointed out that nothing she did was that serious to warrant her arrest. So they think there has to be some other kind of hidden reason that she was taken to jail. real. Number 2, the nightclub fight. Few people know that just hours before Nikita left the Miami Beach hotel in handcuffs, she was also kicked out of a nightclub for getting into an altercation with 2 DJs. The incident occurred at Live, which is a Miami nightclub that attracts celebrity guests, and the DJ duo called Black V-Neck were performing there that night with Afrojack. The musicians told NBC News that the fight started when Nikita tried to steal their liquor bottle, and when they told her off, she shoved them and became irate. The 26-year-old then had to be escorted out of the venue by 6 security guards. In response, Nikita took to Twitter to defend herself, and she said she saw one of the men touch a woman inappropriately, and that's when the fight started. She tweeted, "Bottom line, I see a man put hands on a woman, cause need you forget, I know I look like a doll on the outside, but I still hit like a dude." So whatever happened, Nikita had been behaving erratically even before she was arrested. And coming in at number 1, mental health issues. Perhaps the biggest and most important red flag that we should have noticed about this crazy situation is that Nikita has been very open about struggling with her mental health prior to these violent outbursts. Last December, she admitted to her fans that she was involuntarily committed to a psychiatric hospital in Virginia for 8 days starting on Thanksgiving Day. Then in a YouTube video posted in May that she's since deleted, she said she has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Although there is a debate to be had over whether or not that's a valid reason for her behavior, it does give us some clarity when we talk about her recent chaotic public appearances. So with all that said, it's quite obvious that Nikita has been dealing with issues concerning her mental health over the past year. But the fact that she's now seeking treatment for that is a step in the right direction. Number 10, blood rituals. In an interview earlier this year with Glamour, Megan confirmed that the two of them engage in blood play. She said, "So I guess to drink each other's blood might mislead people, or people are imagining us with goblets and we're like Game of Thrones, drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion, for ritual purposes only." She went on to say that these rituals may depend on the lunar cycle, saying, "So when I do it, it's a passage, or it's used for a reason, and it's controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it." But when it comes to MGK, she says he's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just cut his chest open with a broken glass and be like, "Take my soul." At first you think, well, that's fine, I mean every couple has to have their own kinks, but maybe these two have been watching too much Twilight. This whole thing is a little too satanic for me. Number 9, that GQ interview. The couple opened up about their relationship to the magazine, hoping to paint themselves once again as a kind of Romeo and Juliet couple, but instead the internet started clowning on them. The article is titled "True Romance, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are Hollywood's hottest new power couple," and here are some of the quotes. MGK said, "Even our first kiss, she wouldn't kiss me. We just put our lips right in front of each other and breathed each other. We just put our lips right in front of each other and breathed each other's breath, and then she just left." Megan then spoke about their chemistry and said, "It's ecstasy and agony for sure. I don't want people to think anything's perfect with us. I didn't say it was the darkest fairy tale for no reason. There's also the demonic side." Yes, there is certainly something demonic going on. Many internet users have since joked that their relationship is reminiscent of a really bad fan fiction, with one viral meme that says, "Just saw Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox in public. Luckily grabbed a couple pics," and it shows 2 teens dramatically embracing. Number 8, the thorn ring. When MGK was asked about their engagement, he proudly told Vogue about what kind of engagement ring he had gifted his wife. As you would have expected, there's something incredibly sadistic about it. He claimed that the teardrop emerald ring he proposed to Megan with was designed to inflict pain on her if she were to ever take it off. He said, "It's a thoroughbred Colombian emerald with no treatment. It was just carved into the teardrop straight out of the mine. The concept is that the ring can come apart and make 2 rings. When it's together, it's held in place by a magnet. The bands are actually thorns, so if she tries to take it off, it hurts." The interviewer then questioned the choice of the ring, and MGK just said, "Love is pain." So what does that tell you? Wanting to inflict pain on your partner when they choose to leave you is a textbook toxic relationship. But hey, I'm sure it's a pretty ring. Number 7, calling him daddy. Megan set the incident into a collective frenzy during the 2021 MTV Video Music Awards while presenting alongside Kourtney Kardashian. Both women introduced their respective boyfriends, Machine Gun Kelly and Travis Barker, ahead of their performance, and the moment is still living rent-free in my head to this day. Megan said, "I'm a huge fan of this next performer. I've watched him grow, not just as an artist but as a person. New York, I need you to get extra loud for our future baby daddies." Throughout the evening, Megan constantly refers to MGK as daddy. The 36-year-old Transformers star walked the red carpet in a barely there, completely sheer dress with an embellished G-string underneath. She then revealed to Entertainment Tonight during an interview that her fiance was behind the whole thing. Quote, he was like, "You're gonna get naked tonight." I was like, "Whatever you say, daddy, whatever daddy says." Then later she posted a photo from that night on Instagram with the caption, "Daddy's gonna win a VMA." I mean, at this point it's just too much. Number 6, comments about Halsey. One of the biggest red flags about a guy is the way he speaks about his ex-girlfriends. The rapper was briefly involved with the singer Halsey in 2017 before they parted ways. Even though the breakup seemed amicable, MGK chose to publicly embarrass her on a radio show. He went on the Breakfast Club radio show for an interview that was hosted by DJ Envy, Angela Lee, and Charlemagne the God. He was asked if he and Halsey ever dated, to which he said no, but then Charlemagne asked him if they had ever smashed, and he just smirked and he said yes. Now most decent people would respond to that question by simply declining to answer, but the way he said it was incredibly disrespectful. So what was Halsey's response to this mess? Well, she just tweeted, "How absolutely pathetic." To make matters worse, she was dating G-Eazy at the time, and MGK dropped a diss track rubbing it in, with lyrics saying that he effed his girl and accusing G-Eazy of copying his style by bleaching his hair blonde and wearing an earring, which is just trash behavior all round. Number 5, the Halloween costume. The couple were recently accused of disrespecting the Catholic Church after they dressed up in a fetishized version of religious costumes for Halloween this year. MGK dressed as a priest and Megan wore latex lingerie with thigh-high boots. In photos posted online, they are both seen clutching rosary beads, and a video shows the rapper feeding her communion while she crouches down on her knees in an explicit pose. To make matters worse, Megan captioned the photo saying, "On Sundays we take communion." MGK also shared the video to his Instagram stories writing, "God bless you." The comment section of course was flooded with criticism of their antics, with one follower writing, "I'm not Catholic but this is so wrong in so many ways." With one user writing, "I'm not Catholic but this is so wrong and in many ways making fun of religion. Respect requires respect, so you guys lost mine." Another user wrote, "This is just distasteful and I'm an atheist." While there's a good argument that religion is fair game when it comes to Halloween costumes, these guys found a way to just take it way too far. Number 4, that Instagram post. These two are not only known for their over-the-top PDA, but also their cringy Instagram posts. In fact, their social media presence as a couple is so intense that people have said they give off a high school band kids after 1 week of dating vibe. So if you're feeling a little confused, let me show you one of the Instagram posts that Megan made. When she posted a photo of the two of them, she made the caption, "The tale of two outcasts and star-crossed lovers caught in the throes of a torrid solar flare of a romance, featuring feverish obsession, addiction, shamans, lots of blood, general mayhem, therapy, tantric night terrors, binding rituals, chakra sound baths, psychedelic hallucinations, organic smoothies, and the kind of sex that would make Lucifer clutch his rosary." A lot of their social media posts read like poorly written fan fiction. As a result, there's a running joke that they remind people of the Joker and Harley Quinn meme that says, "She was fearless and crazier than him. She was his queen, and God help anyone who dared disrespect his queen." Number 3, dodging his kiss. There's bound to be moments of tension between every couple, but the video that was captured of Megan and MGK made people think they were actually going to break up. They're usually the king and queen of gross PDA, but during a red carpet appearance in April, the actress can be seen awkwardly avoiding a kiss from her fiance. The viral footage shows an uninterested Megan appearing to physically dodge a kiss from him. MGK laughed awkwardly at the rejection when he realized the cameras were on him. Megan then glared at him and made it apparent that he did something wrong. Around the same time, there was also an awkward video going around with the couple sitting alongside their cast members from the comedy movie called Good Morning. Fans couldn't help but notice that it was another moment when Megan just looked unhappy, especially because MGK was busy laughing with former Disney actress Dove Cameron. Number 2, blood necklace. MGK took his song Bloody Valentine to a whole new level in February when he revealed that Megan had gifted him a drop of her blood to wear around his neck. He went on the Ellen DeGeneres show and said, "Well, she was actually going out of town to film a movie. This was really new in our relationship. I didn't have a passport either. So she was going out to Bulgaria, so I was kind of freaking out like, you're gonna leave me and I can't even come and see you. Some people give like a handkerchief to their partner or whatever. She gave me her DNA." So apparently because they didn't want to have to stress about spending time apart, she gave him an actual bit of her blood to carry around. Again, I don't know what it is with these two and blood, but as crazy as it sounds, they're not actually the first celebrity couple to do this. Back when Angelina Jolie and Billie Bob Thornton were married, they also wore necklaces with vials of each other's other's blood. So maybe it is romantic. Number 1, always starting fight. The rapper got into an altercation with UFC star Conor McGregor that was seemingly unprovoked. The story goes that they were both on the MTV Music Video Awards red carpet when things escalated very quickly. In video footage of the incident, McGregor could be seen lunging at Kelly, who was held back by both security and Megan Fox. Seconds later, the fighter was escorted away, but not before he threw a cocktail in his direction. According to TMZ, McGregor walked up just to say hello when Kelly said something inaudible and pushed him, spilling one of his drinks in the process. Then MGK security attempted to push him away, and that's when the fight broke out. The UFC star later said, "I only fight real fighters, people that actually fight. I certainly don't fight little Vanilla Ice white rappers. I don't even know the guy. I don't know anything about him except that he's with Megan Fox." It's pretty obvious who started the fight in this scenario, and time again we are reminded of just how immature MGK can be. Well, that's everything that we have on the list for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.